In a previous video, we showed you guys how to master early entry using the International Gateway. That's basically the back entrance to Epcot. In today's video, we're going to show you how that strategy changes when you come in through the front. Let's go do it. Hi-ho everybody, this is Rob with Ear Scouts coming to you from Epcot's early entry. We are lined up right here in front of Club Cool, and this is essentially where your early entry rope drop is going to happen if you are planning to ride Test Track first, or really any of the rides that are over here in World Discovery. Test Track though is probably where all these folks are going to be headed. So when you come into the park through the front during early entry, you'll go ahead and go through security like normal. You'll go and tap in really early. Once you come through, you'll see some signs that'll direct you where you're gonna wanna go to get into the early entry line, because essentially, you're gonna have to be tapped again. Everybody who comes into the park can tap in at that first touch point, but if you're doing early entry, you'll have to get into a separate line to tap in once you're in the park. If you have a large group, only one member of your party needs to be tapped, so not everybody has to tap in, but just have one representative at the front of the group with either your hotel key card or a magic band or whatever it is that you're going to use to access the park that day. After you've tapped in, you'll head up towards Spaceship Earth, and you'll see that people are going to kind of go one of two ways. One is going to be headed over here like we did to World Discovery. This is where you'd come if you wanted to do Test Track. The other direction is probably for folks who are going to be doing Remy or Frozen or maybe even Soarin. Those are all really popular ways to start your day. Frozen is kind of off by itself. There's not a lot of rides right around it. So people who come in and go directly to that ride will do it first, and then they'll head away to do other things. The folks who did other rides first are probably going to go second to the rides that are near them, and Frozen is not near anything else. So if you can get there before the official rope drop, before regular park opening, you can usually get a super short wait on that. Our goal is to get two of those biggest rides in this park done during this early entry period, and then we'll jog back up here to ride Guardians. Right now we're lined up in front of an imaginary rope right in front of Club Cool. When the time comes, probably a little bit before 8:30, the cast member will let us know that we can move into World Discovery. It is important that you do not get ahead of that cast member. Do not run. You want to walk into the park. There's actually no reason to run because there's no one ahead of you. So just briskly walk to your first attraction. But remember, if there's a cast member leading you, do not get ahead of that cast member. Quick time check, we are about 15 minutes before official early entry begins, and there's a pretty sizable crowd here. Not as big as you would find on a holiday weekend for sure. We're here kind of during the spring break period, but we're not at the peak of spring break. We are 5 minutes from early entry, and the crowd is definitely building. This is why you kind of want to try to be at early entry, even earlier than early entry starts, because you want to be kind of on this front line of people. Now, everybody here is going to get a great wait time for Test Track. That's really not the issue. But if you're on the very front wave, then you're going to be done with Test Track quickly, and you can jump onto your next ride and hopefully get another one squeezed in during that early entry period. And we're off. Fastest ride in Walt Disney World? Check. Even with Tron, a lot of people think Tron is now the fastest. Nope. Test Track still holds the record. Well, now we are going to continue with that strategy I mentioned earlier. We are headed into World Showcase to do Frozen. We could have gone ahead and done Guardians of the Galaxy, but I didn't want to do Guardians because it's a virtual queue. It's going to have a relatively short wait no matter when we do it. However, getting another one of these big rides out of the way during early entry is definitely going to pay off for us later in the day. Frozen really is the perfect second ride. Everybody who's going to come to do Frozen will have already done it at this point. And since there's not a lot of other attractions around it, World Showcase isn't even open yet, there's not going to be a ton of people getting in to do Frozen second, so we're going to take advantage of that little lull. Here's an important caveat though. If early entry is over after your first ride, if all those folks have come into the park, you probably do not want to head over to Frozen because a huge number of that regular rope drop crowd is going to be heading to Frozen, and this little second ride trick won't work. Well, that was an amazing start to our early entry day. The park is now officially open. Right now, we could go over and do Guardians, but we've got until 9:40 to ride that ride. And really, you've got a 20-minute grace period at the end of that. So technically, we've got until 10. I'll even put another asterisk there. At Guardians, they will usually let you arrive even later than that, but I try not to put cast members in that position. The official rule is you've got a 20-minute grace period, and I try to stick to that. So we did a look at all of the wait times right now, which is what I'd recommend you do at this point. Once the park is open, it's anybody's guess where you should head next. But my suspicion was that Soarin was going to be a good next stop, and that list definitely confirmed my suspicions. It is only a 10-minute wait for Soarin, so we're going to head up there and do that. That's probably going to be the last of our short waits, because once we get off of Guardians, there's going to be a pretty good sized crowd in this park. As you saw in that list already, rides like Remy are up to 55 minutes. So we are now starting to get into the period of the day where the wait times get up to be more like normal. But with any luck, we're going to be able to get Soarin' in, and then we will end our early entry experience with a ride on Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's go do it. I love walking around this park during Flower and Garden. It's just so beautiful. And this year, it's actually extra beautiful. I think they have got more blooms out than I've seen in a lot of years for this festival. It is really, really stunning. My favorite time to be here for Flower and Garden, actually though, is right towards the end of the festival. All of these topiaries, they're living, they're alive. And as the festival goes on, those plants grow and blossom, and they really do evolve. If you have a chance to be here towards the end of Flower and Garden, it's even cooler. Unfortunately, we do not have time to stop and smell the roses this morning. We have got a ticket for a trip around the world on Soarin'. Let's go do it. Our next stop is Guardians. We're getting here just in the nick of time. It is just before 10 a.m. So this is definitely the end of our early entry experience. I wanted to remind everyone though, because I ran into a lot of people this morning who didn't realize you have got to have a virtual boarding group if you want to ride this ride. If you haven't done the virtual queue in a while, it's actually changed up a little bit now that Tron is open. I was actually surprised because normally in the past when they've opened a new virtual queue, they've closed the old one, but they did not do that this time. So what you're going to do, log into the My Disney Experience app, tap on virtual queues, and now there's an extra step. You're going to choose Epcot. You'll see two tabs at the top. One is for Magic Kingdom, the other is for Epcot. Obviously, we're going to choose Epcot and join the virtual queue from there. We're actually running a little bit late for it, so let's go tap in. Well, my friends, the crowds are officially here. This marks the end of our early entry experience, but think about what we just accomplished. There are basically 5 marquee attractions here at Epcot. There's Guardians, there's Remy, there's Frozen, Test Track, and Soarin'. Those are kind of the big 5 here. We just did 4 of those top 5 rides in essentially the first hour or so of park time. Is it worth doing early entry? Yes, it is absolutely worth doing early entry. The only ride we really have to wait for right now is going to be Remy later in the day, but that's going to be a piece of cake when we don't have any of these other big ticket attractions to worry about. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, hey, give this video a like. It helps our channel a lot. And then subscribe and ring that bell so you'll be notified whenever new videos like this come out. Until next time, don't forget to think happy thoughts, everybody. We'll see you again real soon.